Hello and welcome to the Polish Foodies YouTube channel. Today I want to teach you how to make pierogi ruskie, which are the most classic Polish foods. And I'm very happy because I finally have someone in my home that shares my love to pierogi ruskie. And this is my 3-year-old son, because my husband and my daughter, they don't really like pierogi that much, even though they have me at home and I could be making pierogi for them every few days. They didn't want that. But my son loves pierogi ruskie, so I'm making them right now. We are starting with the filling that is traditionally made from potatoes, boiled potatoes, farmer's cheese, onion, butter and salt. So my potatoes are already peeled and boiled. Depending on how many pierogi you need, you can make as much filling as you want. So when it comes to the proportion, you traditionally need 2 times more potatoes than farmer's cheese. So I have about 2 pounds of potatoes and more or less 1 pound of farmer's cheese. And I also have 2 onions that I fried with 1 stick of butter. When it comes to the full recipe, I will link to my grandma's pierogi ruskie recipe in the description of this video. So my potatoes are boiled, and right now I will just mix it all together. So I'm adding the onion and then farmer's cheese. So the beautiful thing about pierogi ruskie is that you can mix it whatever you like. If you don't have farmer's cheese, you may use just potatoes, onion and butter. You may also add tofu if you're a vegan. You may add cheddar cheese or ricotta cheese. I think that the taste of potatoes and onion is strong enough that you may add like any cheese you want. So right now I'm just using the masher to make the filling. So it's better when your potatoes are not hot anymore, because you can start making your pierogi straight away. So if you are vegan, you may also add oil.
Maybe I will help and you will talk.
Okay. That's the difficult part. So I will also make pierogi with blueberries today, because these are the only kinds of pierogi that my daughter likes, pierogi with fruits. So when it comes to blueberries, you may add them just like that, or mix them with sugar. If you want more jelly-like filling, you may also add potato starch or corn starch. We'll also need to add about 1 tablespoon of salt. It's better to make the filling salty, because the dough will not be that salty, and the filling needs to have the strong flavor. Is it ready?
Probably yes.
It's good to have a husband.
You need to try.
Okay. Yeah, you need to try when it comes to salt. I think we'll need to add a bit more. Okay, so we'll continue mashing, you will continue mashing, and we'll come back to you when the filling is ready. Now it's time to make the dough. The most basic and the simple recipe for pierogi dough is just to use flour, all-purpose flour or wheat flour. However, you can use any gluten flour you want. Water and salt, and that's it for the basic dough. Many people add egg or sour cream or oil or butter into the dough, and I think it's totally okay to do so because every family has a different recipe, and I often see on many blogs or Facebook groups that people are arguing about the pierogi dough because they think that water, flour and salt is the only true way to make pierogi. I don't agree, and I make different kinds of dough in my home. My grandma always made the one with an egg and oil, and I think I like this one the most because it was made by my grandma. Anyway, the most basic pierogi dough is from just 3 ingredients, and in order to make it really good you need to use hot water, and when the dough is ready it's better to leave it for a while to rest and cover it with a bowl to make the gluten make all the magic, so that the dough is great to work with. So let's make the dough. So what I have in here is 4 cups of flour. It's 50 grams, half kilo of flour, and half cup of hot water, and also salt. So I'm placing the salt on my stolnica, which is the flat working surface. I'm making a hole in here. Okay, and 1 flat teaspoon of salt, mixing it all together. And right now I'm pouring the hot water into the dough. So be careful because it's really hot, and you may use the fork or a knife if you are worried that you will that the water is too hot for you. Okay, and this is how you do it. You are just mixing it all together right now. So as you can see, it's very simple. Depending on the type of flour you have, you will need more or less water. The point is to make your dough flexible, elastic, easy to work with, so that you can roll your pierogi. Okay. I have some water left, but maybe that's enough. Let me see. Okay, so I will need more water for sure. Okay, so my dough is ready, and right now it's best to divide it into 2 parts and cover the first part with a bowl. Like that, and we will work with this part. So I have a rolling pin ready, and I will just roll out the dough. Okay, so since most of my pierogi will be frozen today because I'm making lots of them to freeze, I'm just getting something ready, like any flat dish plate, whatever you need. I'm just giving some flour in here because I don't want my pierogi to stick to the bottom. And I will need a cup or any dish, any pierogi cutter to cut pierogi. So right now I'm just cut my first pieróg like this. I have the circle that is this thin. It's about ½ inch thin. You may stretch it a bit if you want first. And right now I'm placing the filling inside. And I'm just pinching it all together, making sure that the filling is inside. Otherwise pierogi will fall apart during cooking. And that's it. I have my first pieróg ready. And now we will have to repeat the process with all the rest. So that's a lot of work. The first tray of pierogi are ready. Remember that pierogi gets dry really fast, that's why it's always good to cover them with the clean kitchen cloth. So boiling pierogi is really important. All that you need to remember is to throw them into the boiling hot water. I have this story from my family. When my grandma came to the hospital to give birth to my aunt, my grandfather was left home with two other kids. And my grandma, before giving birth, made lots of pierogi for the family because my grandfather never really cooked, and I think it's the case for most Polish traditional families. So my grandfather's only job was to cook pierogi, and he didn't do it well because he threw pierogi into cold water. And what turned out from this was pierogi soup, because everything just collapsed and he just needed to throw it all away. So boiling hot water, a little bit of salt and a little bit of oil, and that's it. We will just gently throw our pierogi into the water. You may use any pot you wish, but remember that you shouldn't throw more pierogi then you have to cover the bottom of your pot. So in my pot, it's quite small, so I can see that pierogi covered the entire bottom, so I won't add any more. And right now you may use the spoon to just very gently stir pierogi to make sure that none of them stick to the bottom. And we will cook them. So you will notice that the first thing that your pierogi will do is sink to the bottom, but after that they will go up. And from the moment they go up, you will need about 2 minutes of cooking, and then we will take them away and they are ready to eat. So it's better to melt your butter right now so that you can pour melted butter on pierogi right after they are cooked. So traditionally in Poland, Polish people eat only boiled pierogi. I can see that many people in the US are frying pierogi. This is what Polish people do the next day to reheat pierogi, but boiled pierogi are the most traditional and they are considered the best. So if you are visiting Poland, if you visit any Polish restaurant, you will be probably like 100%, I think, you can be sure that you will be served boiled pierogi. So on top of pierogi we usually serve melted butter, sometimes skwarki, that are pork lard with a little grease inside, sometimes also fried onion. So my pierogi are still on the bottom of the pot, so we are still waiting. So my pierogi has been floating for about 2 minutes, so it's the right time to take them off from the pot. I'm using the slotted spoon for that. And you can put them directly on a plate, but if you want to freeze them or serve them later, it's very important to put them, to make sure that they don't stick together. They need to be apart, like you need to have the space between your pierogi. And this is also the time that you will find out whether you sealed your pierogi right, because if the filling didn't stay inside, your pierogi will fall apart. But don't worry if you see the remainings of the filling inside your water, just throw it away and pour another water. So I will probably serve it to my husband right now and wait for the kids. And if you are doing lots of pierogi, you may use like 3 or 4 pots of water and cook it like in the same time. When we are having Vigilia, Christmas Eve in my family, there are like 10 people that are making pierogi all the time and cooking, so you can also do that. If you won't use your water anymore, if you don't want to cook any more pierogi, just turn off the heat. And right now I will tell you how to freeze pierogi. So this is how you freeze pierogi. You just placing them on a tray in your freezer and wait for at least 2 hours until they freeze. It's best to wait overnight, but 2 hours I think it's okay for most of the freezers. And then you are putting them into the plastic bag. So pierogi can stick together, that's why it's really important for them to be apart, to have the space between them. So right now I will just put my pierogi ruskie into the freezer, and after that I will show you how to label them and put into the freezer and put into the plastic bag. So my pierogi are now frozen and I will put them into the plastic bag right now. So I always label my plastic bags. So this is Jagody, written by my daughter, who is still learning how to write, and the date. And this pierogi, you cook the same as the fresh ones. So you just throw them into the boiling hot water and that's it. So you can also freeze cooked pierogi. However, you need to cook them, let them be completely cold, then pour melted butter on them and freeze. And after that you may wait until they are defrost and fry them, or you may also throw them into the boiling hot water. But I think this method is so much better because pierogi are fresh and you can keep them like that in your freezer for up to 6 months. So it's already almost dark outside, because when the kids came back from the school it was crazy like always. So this is it, this is how you make pierogi. You can make pierogi with different fillings, and I have many recipes on my blog. It's polishfoodies.com for different kinds of fillings, like sauerkraut filling or spinach filling, so you may browse through the recipes. Again, when it comes to the dough, the basic one is with flour, water and salt, but I prefer the one with egg and oil. My grandma's recipe calls for 5 cups of flour, 4 tablespoons of oil, 1 egg and 1 cup of water. The recipe is also on my blog. So I hope you enjoy it. Pierogi are definitely delicious. I have just 5 pieces left because all the rest is frozen now, so I will just have them for supper because I love pierogi ruskie. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to see my other recipes for the Polish food, just browse through my YouTube channel. You may also subscribe or comment what video I should make next. So I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.